What's going on, you guys? I'm back with another video. It's been a little while, but the lottery just happened, so I'm gonna try and get a full 2 round mock in. So we're gonna do it on Fanspo. Their website's usually pretty good, um, but we're gonna get right into it. Trying to make it fairly quick, but without further ado, we all know who's going first. Cooper Flag is going number one, 100%. He's going to be able to build a winning culture from day one, as well as being that focal piece or franchise player of the Dallas Mavericks future. And Nico Harrison's job could be pretty much saved with their luck in the lottery. But moving on, the board that I have up, this is my personal one. It's not fully completed yet, so a lot of the rankings are kind of out of sorts. So like, there's a few guys that may end up going back to school on here as well. But regardless, this is my personal board. At 2, if the Spurs stay, they're going to take Harper. I mean, it doesn't make sense fully for the fit, in my opinion, but he's too talented to pass up on. Plus, developing behind CP3 and De'Aaron Fox would also really help him. I think he can play off ball a little bit, but he's obviously got to work on the 3-point shooting off the catch and just working on as a cutter and just a lot of movement without the ball compared to what he was doing at Rutgers. Third overall, I would personally go Knipple, so I'm going to do that here. I think he's the third best player in the class. He plays off 2 feet well. He's an excellent shooter, really smart player, and he's a really good passer out of the pick and roll. So I think that'd be a really nice fit for Philly, especially if they continue to keep that core together. But regardless, I'm a fan of Knipple's game. I really like to fit with Ace Bailey here to the Hornets. Theoretically, if he actually takes a step back in his role and kind of transforms into that high-level 3-and-D wing off the catch. Obviously, he's not 6'10". He measured at 6'7" at the combine, so like 6'8" in shoes, which is still completely fine. He's got a good wingspan, but he's a good roamer defensively. He's athletic. Obviously, he hits incredibly tough shots, but in the NBA, that's not going to be his shot diet. At least I hope not. But I would love to fit there with LaMelo and Brandon Miller, just needing more shooting around him and more defensive help. 5th overall, we're going to go Edgecombe to the Jazz. Just another explosive athlete. Good on the defensive end, has good feel with a passer. He's still working on his handle. He doesn't really have that twitch or fluidity with his handle yet, but his first step's not too bad. He's obviously super explosive and can finish above the rim and around defenders in the air, but he's still working on his offensive bag. So Utah would take a long-term bet with Edgecombe here. 6th overall is the Wizards. I was going back and forth. I saw some with Derek Queen. I thought that'd be an interesting fit, but I'm personally not that high on him. I'm going to drop him my board just a little bit. I'm worried about the defensive side. But regardless, for the Wizards here, I thought that it would be an interesting fit with Kaman Malawach alongside Alexander Sarr. That could be a potential nightmare on the interior defensively. He's obviously a really good lob threat. He could be a threat out of the pick and roll in the dunker spot, especially if Alex Sarr is catching those short roll passes he's looking for the lob to Malawach, or he's just got his little short touch floater. So I think Malawach has a real shot to be an excellent rim protector and anchor in the middle for the Washington Wizards. He's obviously super young as well, and he's fairly new to basketball. 7th overall, we're going to go Jeremiah Fears to the Pelicans, one of the younger players in the class. He's really quick, can get to the rim, had a tough time finishing for the most part, but he moves extremely well. The shot is improving. And overall, he has a chance to be a nice 3-level scorer in the NBA. Then, of course, learning from guys like CJ McCollum, who's fairly similar, or Fears is fairly similar to him. I think that would really help him in the long term. 8th overall, Colin Murray Boyles is going to go here, at least for me. He has excellent defensive versatility. He's powerful. He's got a little Julius Randle in his game. I wouldn't call him a full 3-level scorer yet like Randle, but Murray Boyles is an excellent passer. He can probably play the small ball 5 as well as the 4. He measured in at 6'5" or 6" at the combine, I want to say, but he has a nice wingspan. Obviously, he's super strong, but he's also a really good passer and a willing passer. So he has excellent vision, and he can create his own in kind of the mid post with subtle jabs, just attacking to that left hand really heavily. I'd like to see him go back to his right a little bit more, but he always seems to come back to his left regardless, even if he does go that way. At 9 here, we're going to have Trey Johnson go. He's an excellent scorer from outside. He's a tough shot maker. He's just not the best finisher at the rim right now. He kind of lacks that physicality to stay on his driving line. But overall, I think the Raptors just need as much talent as possible, and he brings that firepower as a three-point shooter and creator out there. He's also a really good passer as well, in my opinion. 10th overall, Rockets are going to go with Carter Bryant. I think he is the prototypical 3-and-D wing in this draft class, 6'8", with a 7-foot wingspan, above the rim athlete, knocked down 45% of his unguarded catch-and-shoot three-pointers. But he's just not an offensive engine or player, I'd say. He can't really create off the bounce yet for himself. Never know, he could start adding that to his game. But regardless, I do think Carter Bryant is a really good player for a Houston Rockets team that you can just continue to add depth and talent. 11th overall here is the Portland Trailblazers, and we're going to go with Rasheer Fleming. He's kind of I don't want to call him a Jeremy Grant replacement just in case he does get traded, but Fleming is athletic. He can knock down a 3, and he plays hard on the defensive end. So he'd be a guy you can just plug in from day one, whether that's off the bench or even potentially starting. But he is a good player from St. Joseph. He's kind of been he's been rising this whole season. 12th, we're going to go with Derek Queen. Obviously, he's extremely crafty and skilled big man. He struggles on the defensive end, but he has excellent touch and footwork. So I think Chicago would really like to have him, especially if Vucevic is still there. You can learn from him for a year. But an extremely talented player going to Chicago in this. 13th overall, we're going to go with Thomas Thorber to the Hawks. I'm curious to see how the fit would be with him and Onyeka Okongwu. Thorber's a drop coverage big. He walls up well. He doesn't really foul a lot, which is ideal. He dealt with some injury. He sat out for a while towards the end of the season, but he's got power. He's finesse. Not the greatest athlete, but he's good enough and he's smart enough on the defensive end to the point where he doesn't need to be. He's a good rim protector, and he's also has a 7'6" wingspan. So I have a feeling that's going to allow him to rise even with the injury. To round out the lottery, 14th overall, we're going to go with Noah Senge, another Frenchman for the Spurs here. He has high upside. He can knock down a 3. He can get to the rim off of bad closeouts. He's a smart player, good defender, quick feet. Obviously, he has kind of the mold that a lot of NBA teams covet, 6'8", long wingspan. He's still in season, so we're not going to see him at the combine, but I'm sure they'll have one soon to the point where we can get all his measurements out and see him go to work athletically. But regardless, I think this could be a nice long-term bet for San Antonio. 15th overall, one of my favorite players in the class, Noah Penda, I think should go here. Obviously, he's another French guy, but really good. He kind of reminds me of like a mix of Jarris Walker, Aaron Gordon, Boris Diaw, kind of fits that archetype of excellent playmaker at his size. Not a great handle, but he's arguably the best defender in this class. He's a really cerebral player as well. He's a good cutter, decent athlete, and the shot is also improving. So I'd really like to see where he ends up in the long run. I was torn between Nique Clifford and Jace Richardson here for Orlando, but I'm going to go with Nique. I think he has a nice combination with his potential 3-and-D type of status, but he's turned into a nice scorer. He's a bit of an older prospect, which is completely fine, but he can kind of play that bigger 2 guard that can put it on the floor, can score it. He led, or in the draft class, he's obviously 6'6", but there was a statistic. He leads all 6'6" and up players in points per possession in isolation situations. So that is ideal. Orlando needs scoring and shooting, and I think Neek can bring that. At 17 here, we're going to get a little bit interesting. I don't think Jaeger Dem is going to fall out of the lottery, but this is what I would do. So we're going to go with him here. We'll stop the fall here. He's obviously, I still think he's a good player. He's still one of my favorite prospects. Probably the best passer, and he's also 6'8.5", 6'9.5", one of those two at the point guard position. He's probably going to transfer to more of a wing in the NBA, but his shot mechanics are really nice. I think at some point I'll buy into that, and I do think he'll end up becoming a decent shooter at some point. 18th overall, we took Malawach with the first pick for the Wizards. And for the second one, we're going to stop the Kasper Siakishonis fall. He may not make it out of the top 10. He just needs the ball in his hands way too much to be effective. And he's a decent shooter. He's still improving on that end, but he turns the ball over a lot. But regardless, I could see he's a project, but he has long-term upside, so never know with him. He could end up turning into a really nice player. At 19, we're going to go with Jace Richardson. He measured in at 6'1.5", I want to say, at the combine, but excellent shooter. He's got good footwork. He's really left-handed. He doesn't really look to go back to his right, but he's crafty. He's smart. He's Jason Richardson's son, but regardless, he is a good player, and I think the Nets would enjoy him long term. 20th overall. There's a few spots where a few players that I thought could go here, but ultimately I'm going to go with Nolan Traore. He's been playing a lot better. He's a blur in the open floor. He's improving as a shooter, and he was talked about as a top 5 pick in the beginning of the process. So it's good to see him playing a lot better. So that eventually that could be Miami's long-term point guard solution. So I would like Traore there. For Utah, they are back up at 21. We took Edgecombe with the first one. And then we're going to take Will Riley here. He's another long-term bet. Might as well just continue to add wings. I didn't really like the Cody Williams pick last year. They took him fairly early. I know it's but a bit of a weaker class, but regardless, Will Riley is another long-term bet who can shoot it, put on the floor. He's a good cutter. He's just a little bit on the thinner side, but he has high upside. Atlanta is back up here. We're going to add a guard, and we're going to add LeBaron Philon from Bama. He kind of fits that Ryan Nembhard type of archetype, where he's just a solid all-around guard. He's not super offensively gifted, but he's crafty. He makes plays on the defensive end, and he seems to always be in the right spot. So Atlanta could use some guard depth there, especially if Kobe Buffkin doesn't end up working out. I know he's dealt with some injury, but he hasn't been the greatest selection so far. We're going to go with Danny Wolf here to the Pacers. I think him and Miles Turner can actually play alongside one another in certain lineups. He's obviously not 7 foot exactly, but he is about 6'10". He's got a ridiculous handle for his size, makes good passes. He just tends to turn the ball over a lot. But in an Indiana offense where I don't think he'll have the ball as much, in a more scaled down role and potential position, I think he could thrive stepping out, hitting threes on pick and pops out of the short roll, maybe a playmaking hub on the elbow, anything like that. But Danny Wolf is still one of my favorite players in the class for sure. Thunder back up. Asa Newell is going to go here. He's kind of been falling in mine, but he has a high motor, plays really hard on the defensive end. He's a good rebounder as well. And he's a fairly good athlete. He can step out, hit the three. He's also very left-handed, doesn't really use his right too much, but he's got nice touch around the rim, and I think he could potentially turn into a really nice rotational piece for OKC. Back up at 25 is the Orlando Magic, and at this point, if he's still there, I would take Walter Clayton Jr. They need scoring off the bench, excellent shot maker, excellent shooter, and of course coming off a spectacular run for the national title. 26 here, we're going to go with Adu Thero from Arkansas, one of the better athletes in the class, really supercharged defensively, just not that great of a shooter or really that good on the offensive end, but he can get to the rim, good cutter, lob threat. So he's got potential there, but defense is his calling card early on. Then at 27, I have a feeling that a lot of teams are going to be looking to trade for Nick Claxton. So that could put Brooklyn in a tough spot here. I did forget that Cedric Coward was still here. I forgot I put them lower on the board just because I was just adding guys, but we're going to add another wing here. We're going to do Cedric Coward, 6'5", with a 7'2" wingspan, if I'm not mistaken. He's been rising like crazy at the combine. He may go inside the top 20, but regardless, he is a long-term bet and a good player overall. He's also very well spoken. If you watched his interviews during the combine, I really like what he could bring for that team. We're going to go Kalkbrenner here for Boston. There's a chance that they lose Kornet and Porzingis, so why not add another big white dude that can protect the rim, potentially step out, hit a three, and as well as good touch and just a good screener, as well as a big body for a team that's trying to stay in contention. The Suns here. We're going to go with the Axel Lendeborg. He's going to end up going in the first round. I don't think he's going to go back to Michigan. Not back, but transfer fully to Michigan. So I think he's going to stay in the draft, and he's got a unique skill set. He can block shots. He's a rebounder. He pretty much does everything. He's a Swiss Army knife. He's just not the greatest scorer or shooter yet, but I think it's coming along. And then at 30, we have the Clippers, and I'm going to go with Tahad Pettiford here. He played well in the first combine game. Kind of struggled against physical defenders in the second game, Jameer Watkins especially, but Pettiford, excellent microwave scorer, has a chance to be really good off the bench for a Clippers team who's also still looking to really contend in the playoffs in a tough West. So that'll round out the first round. Going right into the second round. Probably going to go a little bit quicker here. Here at 31, we're going to go with Liam McNeely, just another shooter around Anthony Edwards. Boston is back up here. So we're going to go with Tyrese Proctor. He's fairly similar to Derek White, in my opinion. I don't know if he'll ever get to his level, but he is a good player. Ben Seraph from Israel was another creative kind of shooting guard, shooting guard, point guard with really high cerebral skills as a passer. Just needs to improve on the shooting, especially. Hornets are. Hornets are back up here. Okay. Sorry about that. We're going to go with Maxime Reynaud from Stanford. He played really well in the combine game. He only played one. Then he's sitting out for the rest of it. So obviously he feels like he's going to be either a first-round pick or, in this case, a early second-round pick. Philly's back up here. They took Knapple with the first one. And then next one here, we're going to go with Bogoja Markovic. He's a 6'11", very thin 6'11", but can do a lot with the ball in his hands, can shoot it, can pass it. Just needs to continue to build that experience. I don't know if he'll be a draft and stash, but he could be a guy that they stash away for maybe a year, just to allow him to develop, especially if they're still contending. May not be enough room for him in the rotation early on, but I do like Markovic's his skill set overall. Here with the Brooklyn Nets, they are back up. There's been a lot of buzz around Joan Behringer, and obviously he's extremely athletic. I haven't watched a lot of them, but we're going to go with Behringer here just as a high upside swing at the center position. Detroit is up here. This is their first pick of the draft. They had a really nice year, to be honest. I thought they really did well. But we're going to add kind of to that front court. They didn't really have a lot of depth on that end, in my opinion. So we're going to look for one real quick, but this is just kind of tough considering a lot of different things. But we're going to go with Alex Condon here. I think he could sneak his way into the early second. He's obviously a national champion. Does really well off handoffs. He's athletic. I just need to see him play more physical. He kind of struggled on that end, even though they ended up winning. But regardless, I think he'll be fine in the long run. Spurs are back up with their third pick of the draft. They could go in a multitude of different ways, in my opinion. But we are going to go with Hugo Gonzalez. He could be a draft and stash as well, but he played for Real Madrid. He didn't get a lot of burn. I think he's still playing. I think they're still in season, but he can make a play, put on the floor. He's athletic. He crashes the offensive glass hard. He's got a few putback dunks. He can shoot it a little bit, and he makes a nice play with his passing and playmaking. So obviously a limited opportunity for him, but regardless, could be a nice long-term bet for San Antonio. The Raptors are back up here. Took Trey Johnson with the first one for them. And then we're going to get creative here. We're going to take Hanson Young as a playmaking hub, sort of big. He did really well in the combine. I was really impressed with his passing. He hit a contested three as well. He has a really quick spin to the baseline and kind of uses a multitude of fakes and body bumps to create a little bit of separation so we can finish off the glass. But that'd be a really nice upside swing there for the Raptors, who are fairly well known for their development of young players. Washington Wizards here. We're going to take Cam Jones from Marquette. I'm higher on him. He's another one. He's very left-handed, so he doesn't go to his right a lot, but kind of a combo guard, can shoot it. Was obviously in an increased role this past year due to Tyler Kolek going to the NBA. He's on the Knicks now, but he turned into a pretty good passer. He can get downhill, hits little floaters well. Of course, he can knock down the three. But just adding more, maybe even I want to call him a veteran presence, but an older rookie who's more mature and can probably make an impact from day one for the Wizards. Golden State is up here. This is their first pick of the draft, or first pick for them. They can go in a few different ways, in my opinion. I don't know if they have like a true need at a certain position. I guess you can, if I'm them, I'd probably just take best available. And I don't know if all the players in the draft are actually on this website, so it's kind of tough. But we're gonna go with Chaz Lanier here. I played against him when he was at UNF, so that was pretty cool to see him at Tennessee, really balling out. Obviously, an excellent shooter, good athlete, one of the more older prospects. But regardless, he can probably step in, maybe even from early on, and maybe make a little bit of an impact with his shooting. The Kings are up here. This is their first selection. They can go in a variety of different ways. I think they kind of got screwed over with the lottery anyway, missing out on a lottery pick. So, because I think their pick went to Atlanta, I want to say. So, obviously not looking too good for the Sacramento Kings right now. But we're going to go with Janiyah Broome. Obviously, had a really productive final year in Auburn. And then up here, we have the Jazz. So we're going to go with Alex Tuhey from Australia. Kind of a guy that doesn't do a lot at an elite level, but he also does a lot of things at a pretty good level. So a potential depth piece there. Thunder are back up, of course. They're going to take Drake Powell. He's kind of an interesting one. He's probably should have stayed in school, but upside's there. He's super athletic, can hit a three every once in a while. So we'll see what happens with him. Chicago's back up here. I think they can go. They obviously took Derek Queen. At least I took Derek Queen, the first one for them. But there's a couple different players that I think could make an impact for them. If Miles Byrd stays in here, I think he'll be fairly available in this range. So he's a good shooter, really nice looking jumper. In my opinion, I think he's got a real chance to be a good player. Magic are back up. We're going to take Johan Grunlow. He's active. He's skilled. Another German big who's got a chance to be a pretty good player. And, of course, adding to the German heritage in Orlando with Franz, Mo, and Tristan da Silva now. Then Milwaukee Bucks are up here. I really like, theoretically, if they keep Giannis. I don't know if that's going to happen. I like Zion James a lot for them. Regardless if he stays or not, he would be a nice not a long-term bet, but a guy that can make an impact from day one. He can initiate plays, bring the ball down, defends at a high level, can knock down threes. He's just an overall good player. the guy that you want on your team. Grizzlies up here. We're going to go with R.J. Lewis. He obviously struggled towards the end of the year, but he's a wing that had a really productive season outside of the last game against Arkansas. Good defender, good passer. Not the greatest shooter right now, but he can get to the rack and finish as well. So he could be a bet there in the second round. Cleveland's back up here. Or not back up, but Cleveland is up. They can go to a few different ways. I think they could add another wing. Jameer Watkins had a really nice performance at the NBA Combine, so we're going to go with him there. 50 Knicks are back up, or not back up, they're up. Knicks are up here, and we are going to take Grant Nelson from Bama, just adding some depth down there. He can potentially make maybe make an impact within a year or two for that team. Clippers, we're going to go with Dink Pate. He's kind of a long-term bet. He's very raw, but he'll probably spend some more time in the G League as well. Suns are here. Mark Sears had a nice performance in the Combine as well. I think he may end up getting drafted as well. He's obviously a burner from deep and draws some comparison to Jalen Brunson. I can kind of see it, but I don't think he has the physicality that Brunson has, or plays similarly in that type of fashion, in that little mid-post, low post on the block, even as a point guard. Utah's back up. We're going to take Michael Ruzic, another skilled Croatian big. So that's there. They probably draft and stash, but we'll see what happens there. I feel like at this point, Rocco Zikarsky from Australia, he moves too well. I believe he measured in at like 7'3". So he's obviously got some potential there. Not a lot of production this past year, especially considering he played a lot better the year before, I believe. But regardless, he's got skill. He can protect the rim and finish. For the LA Lakers here, they think they can go to a few different ways. This is probably not going to be a too crazy pick for them. But let's go with Kobe Bryant from Kentucky, obviously one of the better shooters in all of college basketball this past year. So LA needs more shooting. Why not add him? This pick has obviously been forfeited, so we're just going to take Isaiah Evans, who's obviously going back to college. Watch out for him next year, though. He can shoot. 57th, Grizzlies are back up. Or not. Yeah, they are back up. And we are going to take Hunter Sallis, another nice scoring kind of combo guard who played really well in his final year at Wake Forest. I believe he transferred from Gonzaga as well, so he got a lot better. And I'm a fan. Boogie Fland is not in the draft. I don't know why he's at 60 here, but we're going to go with Micah Peavy. He's an excellent defender, improved shooter, and obviously he's gotten a lot better. Maybe the Magic can make something out of him. They really love good defenders, of course. So Izan Almansa, I don't think he's in the class, so I'm not going to take him. But we're going to go with Mo Fay. I believe he is in the class. He'd be a draft and stash, long-term bet at center for them. And then to round it out with Mr. Irrelevant, we are going to go with Mackenzie Mboko from Indiana, who had a really nice combine performance. He caught fire towards the end, actually just in the game overall. So, and he was another one that came from the D League Ignite combine. So he rose up, he got called up. So that's impressive for him. This is the full draft. Scroll through it one last time. I'm hoping you guys enjoyed this. Obviously, it's not an extremely professional one. I did it on a website. If I knew how to edit videos a little bit better, obviously I would do that. So, but regardless, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Probably going to look to post my board here soon. So, once again, appreciate it. God bless as always, and I'll see you guys in the next video.